Today I'm going to be showing you how to make potatoes that are spiced with paprika and curry, as well as some filet mignon. Let's get started. SerxVanFunTime. So you're going to start off by cleaning 8 to 10 potatoes. Then you're going to peel the skin off of all of them. This is probably the most tedious part of the entire recipe. Try not to, slice your finger like I did or part of your nail off. Next, you're going to chop all of the potatoes, first into slices widthwise and then into quarters to make smaller pieces of potatoes that'll be easier to eat and quicker to cook. Next, you're going to take a pot that's big enough to hold all the potatoes and transfer them over. Then you're going to take the pot and fill it up with cold water so that the height of the water is just surpassed the height of the potatoes. You're going to put the pot on the stove and turn the heat to high to boil the water. You also want to make sure you stir the pot every once in a while. In the meantime, I would suggest preparing this little colander or strainer in order to drain the potatoes fast and then shock them cold. The filet mignon was previously defrosted, and here I'm just taking them out of the baggies in order to get ready to spice them while the potatoes are boiling. And I'm cutting them in half just to make them more friendly portions. The spice I'm using is the Keg Steak Spice, and I'm just putting that all over on all sides of the filet mignon. Then I'm going to head back to the potatoes and see if they are done. So we're only going to be cooking the potatoes halfway, so I used a slotted spoon so that the water can drain out of it so I can test the potato. And you're just going to use a fork. So I picked up a potato in just a moment, and then I'm taking the fork and I'm pressing in. If it goes in easily, that means it's cooked and it's done. If it takes a bit of resistance, I'd say that's about halfway. Oh my god, this meat looks so good. So after determining that the potatoes are half done, I'm just straining them in the sink with the strainer that I set up earlier. After that, I'm just shocking them with some cold water to stop them from cooking any further. At this point, I'm setting the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so while the potatoes are cooling, the rest of the things you need are a giant bowl, a baking dish, some paprika, and some curry. I'm using the smoked paprika by McCormick and the mild curry powder, again by McCormick. Also, some olive oil. And finally, you're going to need some butter, not shown here, we'll show later, and some tin foil. Okay? So then I'm taking the cooled potatoes and pouring them into the giant bowl, where then I'm spicing them with paprika and curry. I'm using a lot more paprika than the curry, as you can see, and then I'm mixing them all together to make sure the potatoes are evenly coated and heavily coated, more heavily than you would imagine. I like to go back and forth with the paprika and the curry and mix in between to make sure that it evenly coats all of the potatoes. After you add all the spices, it's time to add the olive oil to the bowl. So you're going to add a bunch, mix it together, and then you're going to add even more. You want them heavily coated in the oil in order to cook. Then we're going to transfer the spiced potatoes into the baking dish, and I'm adding even more olive oil as I have a tendency to not use enough. Then I'm going to grab the spiced meat and add it on top of the potatoes and add a little bit of oil onto each side of the meat. Finally, I'm going to take the butter and cut some slices and just throw them into the mix randomly. I don't need a lot, it's just to add to the flavoring of the meat. Lastly, I'm going to cover the baking dish with some tin foil. And you're ready to put it in the oven. And you're going to let it cook for 30 minutes. Okay, so sorry for the change in lighting, lost the natural light, so we have to use these. And it's been 30 minutes now, so I'm just going to test the potatoes and see if they're done. If they're done, the meat's definitely done, so we'll set. The meat is done so soon because it's filet mignon, so it's very, very tender and cooks extremely fast. So I'm testing if the potatoes are done by sticking a fork into it, and if it has no resistance, it's done. And as you can see here, went through no problem, so it's finished. It looks delicious. I'm probably gonna eat it